Welcome back to the exciting conclusion of Python turtle squares, and in this episode, Timmy the turtle is going to make his purple square. And this will be a lot of copy, pasting, and editing some numbers here. So this won't be really exciting, but you're going to get used to how the turtle works here. So we might have to scroll down here as we get more lines of code. And we'll make a brand new turtle. Even though you don't always have to, we'll make a brand new turtle named Timmy. So Timmy's going to be purple and Timmy's going to be down further. So, you know, some of these things we're going to have to put in some coordinates. So unlike the turtle Tommy, he just started at his default and just kind of did his thing and started moving. But with Timmy, if Timmy's going to start somewhere else, we're going to have to tell him to go to somewhere first. So we're going to have to mess around with some of the pen up and pen down. So let's do Timmy. We're just going to copy everything we have here from Tommy. So I'm going to copy all this code here, all the 18 lines of code we might have here. And I'm going to copy it. And again, make sure you click so it's not highlighted in blue. And I'll hit return twice so there's a division here. And right away, I'm going to call him Timmy. Make sure you're doing it to the second one. And you might be thinking, oh God, I have to change all these to Timmy? I mean, really? Well, here's what you can do. You can double click on Tommy. And then if you're on a Mac, you could hold Command. If you're on Windows, hold Control. Hold down your Control key if you're on a Mac. And then just double click, and it'll let you double click and highlight Tommy multiple times. Now if you mess it up, just start over or something. But you can see it's letting me highlight Tommy all these times. And once I get to the end, and I didn't want to do that, so I'm going to click off that and then click on this again. So if you mess up, just click off it once and then click on again. I still have my command or my control key down, and I'll double click there and I'll double click there. And you can see they're all highlighted. And then that means I could type right over it. I could just go right on my keyboard and put in Timmy. And there's Timmy. Now you could have gave it a different name. You don't have to call it Timmy. I think I did Tyler last time, but I'm using Timmy here. And that wasn't that hard. So now I got Timmy. Now Timmy's going to be purple. So let's change Timmy to be purple. And we'll still use a turtle shape with Timmy. Now if I run it right now, Timmy's going to go right over top of Tommy. And Tommy won't like that. Because then you won't see Tommy's. He's right on top of Tommy, and Tommy doesn't like that. So we're going to make him move down. We're going to give him some personal space so he's down further. So considering this is 100 pixels and he's going down 25, we probably want to give him another 25 before we even start. So if we go down 25 and then we go down another 25, so it's like 50. So if you figure we have a 100 pixel square, we're going to add like 50 to that to get him to start. So he starts down here. That'll give us enough buffer. So we're going to add 50 to 100. If we did 100, it would make a square right here, right on top of it, and that would still go on top of Tommy. So what we'll do is, before we begin fill or any of this stuff, we're going to put some commands in here, and we'll put timmy.goto. And where Timmy's going to go to start, he's not going to go over any, so we'll just put in 0. He's going to start at the same place that Tommy starts, so we'll just put 0 for the x. Now at the end they go over, but to start he can start at the same place at 0. So we'll put 0, and then I'll put -150. So that means he's going to go down here, -150, and start to draw his square. Let's look up here. Before we did the go-to, we did a pen up right in front of it. So if we don't want a line here, we're going to have to do a pen up. Now, I'll just show you what happens, and then we can kind of get rid of it. But let's just see what we have so far. If we just say this go-to, we make them, this is a different start point. So I could even put this here, and I put, start point. And let's just see what happens here. So there's Tommy. And Tommy's all done. Now there's Timmy. Now Timmy still finishes up where Tommy does, and he draws a line, so we want to fix that. So to get rid of the line, before Timmy goes to where he starts, we're going to tell him to pick his pen up. So whenever he goes on a trip, look at it this way. Whenever you tell your turtle to go on a trip to go somewhere, tell them to bring their pen up. If they're drawing something, they could have their pen down, but if they're just going somewhere, they should take their pen up because they're making a trail all over and it's making a mess. So we're going to say timmy.penup. So he's going to lift his pen up, and then he's going to go there, and now he's going to start to begin fill, but before he begins his fill, now he needs his pen down again, because we want to see him draw his square. We want to see the line when he's drawing it. So then we're going to tell him to put his pen down again. So I know it's a hassle. You're like, well, is it pen up or pen down? Well, he's lifting it up, he's going somewhere, then he's putting it down. And now he's going to start drawing with his pen. And then he has a begin fill, and then he's doing all that other stuff that we did before. And then at the end, because remember, we don't want him to end here, we still have a pen up, which we are going to do. And instead of going to negative 25, now he is going to go to 50, except he's going to be down. Now, because this is negative 25 and this is negative 50, we're just going to add that. So we can put it all together and just put negative 175. And if you don't believe me, just put it negative 150 and you'll see what happens. If it's negative 150, he'll be right on top of here and you won't see him. So we're going to make him go to negative 175, so he's down further. So he's still 25 down from where he started. That's why we have the extra there from the 150. So let's see what happens here. There's Tommy, and he just made a square. Now here comes Timmy, and he's doing it. And that's it. And that's all you're doing for this exercise is you're making two squares like that. You're getting used to some of the commands that we're doing here. So the commands are all this begin fill, pen up, pen down, left, forward. The properties or the attributes are things like color, shape, and we usually have to put something in there like purple, and I'll show you where to find this stuff. If you go to python.org, there's a whole turtle area that you can go and find all this information. You could adjust their speed. There's all kinds of things you could do, but we don't need to worry about that right now. All we need to do for this exercise is just make two squares with two turtles that look like this. So that's what you're doing. We're making Timmy and Tommy, and they're doing that. So we just have to make sure we're getting our numbers. Now, eventually, we're going to do something called a loop, so we don't have to have so many lines of code. And we're also going to do something called a function, so we could basically run this function twice instead of just copying and pasting all this kind of stuff. But that's how we're going to learn to be a little more efficient with our code and be looking at turtles instead of just seeing, text and numbers come out of this console, which that can be kind of boring. So at least we get to see some turtles here. So hopefully that wasn't too hard other than just changing the Tommy to Timmy. And when you're done with this, remember you don't have to save. All that you have to do is either highlight this and copy it or go to share and again skip this part and go down here and copy the link and then go to My Warren. And then you're going to go to coursework. And I still have this under Unit 9. That's okay. I might move it to Unit 10, but if you see it at Unit 9, that's okay. And just click on it. And you're just going to add a comment and insert a link and paste your URL that you just copied from your Rappel. And make sure you choose New Window and hit OK and hit Save. Now we're going to be doing more of these. We're going to do a bunch of these exercises with the turtles, but this is the little introduction. So that's exercise 10. That'll kind of finish off Unit 9, and then we'll do some more with Unit 10. But that's all you have to do to turn it in, and we are going to do more with this. And again, sometimes what you're going to do, I just want to point out that sometimes you're going to go in here and I'm going to say fork it. And that means you're going to go open the one that you already did. And if you fork it, it'll make a copy of it and it'll put like a 1 after it. And that way, if we have code to reuse, you don't have to go and type it all from the beginning. You could just kind of reuse that and then we'll edit a new one and we'll have a new file here. So it's kind of like duplicating when you fork it. The nice thing about forking is almost, we do this in Gravit too. It means I can send you something and you could fork it and pull it into your account. So you can kind of copy it into your account as well. It's not just duplicating your files. You can duplicate other people's files and work on them. That's the whole point. This is all educational. That's what Python Turtles is for. It's for education. Nobody's out there in the real world making a lot of money working with Python Turtles. It's just a way to learn programming, commands, and attributes and have a GUI to work with. So it's a little more fun than just working with numbers. So that's what Python Turtles is, and we're going to do more of it. So that's our first exercise, exercise 10, Python Turtle Squares.